So today this lesson is going to be about simplifying rational expressions. A rational expression, from our definition, is going to be anything that is a fraction. An expression, remember, from our definitions, is a mathematical statement that does not have an equal sign. So we're going to reduce rational or simplify rational expressions. So we have four things that we're going to look at today. We have one, we have to create multiplication, because rational is division, so we have to create multiplication to make the order of operations work together. Once we create multiplication, we're going to do that by factoring. We're going to look for common factors in the numerator and the denominator. Then we will reduce the common factors to a 1, and then we're going to write the answer in simplified form or factored form depending on the directions. Today we're going to work on simplification, so that means write the answers without grouping symbols and combining all like terms. So the first couple of examples, these are rational expressions. These are also going to be very similar to our exponent rules. So 32 and 8, what do 32 and 8 have in common? You can write 32 as 8 times 4. You can write 8 as 8 times 1. They both have a factor of 8. So what you can do is you can rewrite this as 8 times 4, and you rewrite 8 as 8 times 1. They both have a factor of 8. So I can reduce those to a 1, which is going to be left as 4 over 1. Now I have x to the 6th. X to the 6th is 6 of those written out. And then I have x squared. Well, then what I do is I get rid of common factors by making them a 1. Then what I'm going to be left with here is I made too many x's, which would be x to the 4th. Okay, so the answer would be 4x to the 4th. Okay, over here, we would do the same thing. Okay, 15 and 27, what do those have in common? Those both share a 3. So if I take a 3 out of this, I'm going to be left with a 5. If I take a 3 out of this, I'm going to be left with a 9. Our exponent rule, we have division, so when we divide, we subtract exponents. So I'm going to have, so I will have a fraction of 5 over 9. And when I do this, I have more x's on the bottom, so that means my x is going to go on the bottom. How many more? So what I do is I do 7 minus negative 3, which would be a total of 10 x's. So that would be your answer. Okay, those are the exponent rules. Those are also rational expressions. Okay, this is going to be more of what we're going to be working with over this unit. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify. First, we're going to create multiplication. We're going to factor the numerator, factor the denominator if possible. So step 1 on this is factor. The numerator has a greatest common factor of x, which is going to leave, or x squared, which is going to leave me with x plus 3. Over, the denominator does not factor, so I'm going to have x plus 3 in the bottom. So in my numerator, I have x squared times x plus 3. The denominator, I have x plus 3. The x plus 3s are common. So what happens is the x plus 3 here and the x plus 3 here reduce to a 1, leaving me with just an x squared. Over here, same thing, x squared minus 1. That is a difference of perfect squares, so I can factor it to x plus 1 and x minus 1. Divided by, this is a trinomial, the factors of 1 that add up to 2 would be x plus 1 and x plus 1. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we look for common factors, the x plus 1 and the x plus 1. I can get rid of one of these on the top and the bottom. So what happens is those reduce to 1s, leaving me with an x minus 1 on top, leaving me with an x plus 1 on bottom, and this is the simplified version. The next one, same process, factor the numerator, take out an x squared, leaving me x plus 1. Factor the denominator if you can. In this case, it doesn't. Notice we have an x plus 1 on top and x plus 1 on bottom. Those reduce, leaving me with just an x squared. Over here, the second one, factor the numerator. The factors of 5 that add up to 6 would be x plus 2. Excuse me, x plus 5, thinking incorrectly here, x plus 5 and x plus 1. divided by, this is a difference of squares, would be x plus 5 and x minus 5. The factors of 25 that add up to, remember there's a 0x there in the middle. Okay, notice common factors, the x plus 5 here and the x plus 5 here are the same. They reduce to 1, leaving the x plus 1 divided by x minus 5. That's your answer.